All right, guys, out here on Bistineau again. Something is going on with Bistineau this year. It's just not the same. I think it was just a longer drawdown, and then the water came up right in the middle of the spawn, but just not catching the numbers or the sizes as normal. I'm going to try it again, even though I know the cold snap has come through. Dropped the water temperature yet again. It was in the 40s this morning. So, and got a north wind. We've got a couple hours this afternoon. Hopefully with the sun heating up the water, we've got a little bit more action. So we'll see. All right, decent fish, 3-pounder. Finally got one I specifically targeted with today anyway, with live scoop. A couple trees back, I had 3 of them follow all the way to the boat. I could watch them dancing around by the trolling motor. Catch them all?
That's for sure we did.
Yeah, the brim that's moved up are small still.
Yeah.
It's gonna be another couple weeks.
Yeah.
Gotta get that water temperature up to about 80 degrees.
Yeah.
They'll be all around this island.
Right.
There's a bunch of them in here, but they said about 2 inches long.
Yeah, you bad fish. Yeah. Oh, no.
What's that? I caught a few, but it's also day after a front.
Yeah.
Won't do no good.
Oh, yeah, he's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said most of them come up small.
Yeah.
Not often that this happens. you know, they'll occasionally hit it, but they usually just let it go. And usually you can't get a good hook set on them anyway because of the way their mouth is made, but whatever. Another good fish. Come on. A couple of things going on. I'm starting to be able to see, to understand what I'm seeing on that live scope. Other thing is, I think that these fish are extremely late in spawning. They're just moving up, really, and I think that's what's been going on, because most of these fish I've caught are very, very healthy, big bellies on them. They're not post spawn. I've seen a few clouds of fry. I'm very certain they're bass, but I think it was from a few weeks ago when the water temperature started getting up. But we're in April and the water temperature is 68, 69 degrees, somewhere in that range. Usually by now it's 8 to 10 degrees warmer than that. You know, we always get these little cold spells around Easter, but usually it's only enough to drop it down a degree or two, and after a couple of days everything's back on track. This year it has not been. The water was delayed. It's normally up in January, and so on these flats, these shallow flats like this, the water has time to heat up in the sun, and there are places that spawn earlier than others, but it just hasn't had that opportunity. It didn't come up until late, and when it did come down, it was quite when it did come down, it was when the water came down, it was quite cold. So it is what it is. All right, guys, as I was saying earlier, got interrupted by a phone call, but I'm encouraged for a couple of reasons. One, I know what I'm seeing on the live scope now. It's another solid 3-pound female. These fish are just late moving up. That's what it seems like. This is like a month late. A month ago I would have been doing what I'm doing right now. Secondly, this is the day after a front. It's still kind of cool out. In fact, it's going to be a cold boat ride back. But catching females now, pretty good size, and they seem to be getting a bit more aggressive as the as the evening goes on here. So that's a good sign. And like I said, these are not post-spawn fish. These are still full of eggs. Their bellies are still full. So I'm encouraged by that. I was worried about Bistineau for a bit here, because for the past 10 years I've caught fish off the same trees over and over again, beginning at the end of February and then peaking in about now in April, and then all the way through June, you know, when it starts to taper off a little bit at that point. But this year I haven't caught them on any of those same trees, because you can see out here there's just a wall of trees, and sometimes You know, you can come out here and people will tell you to go catch fish on the trees. That's where they are. Well, there's a million of them. You know, which tree and where and how deep and all of that. What kind of tree, what type of tree, how dense do they need to be, all the rest of the info. But there are certain trees that, for whatever reason, every year, year after year, they produce fish on them. In fact, you can come and catch a fish on a tree. This specific tree where I just caught this fish, I've caught fish on this tree over and over again, the exact tree. The tree next to it, never. But this tree I've caught fish on. So it's sort of a funny thing how this lake is, but they were not on these trees. Just a few days ago, they were not on these trees, but now they are. So they're sort of moving up, and I was only catching smaller fish, looked like little buck bass, but I was trying to figure out what was going on, but it's just the water temp, the late rise of the lake and everything else, but they're moving in, so good news. On some of these throws, I'm watching fish chase my bait all the way back with the live scope. You know, 3 or 4 of them sometimes. Maybe crappie, maybe small bass, but or even, you know, some sort of brim. But watching them come all the way back to the boat. Well, got in the trolling motor. lost that one because it got hung up on a log. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it. Had about an hour and a half or so. Sun's starting to set on me. Want to get back so I don't have to deal with the running lights. Turned out to be a beautiful evening though. The wind light laid down. Wood ducks passing here, nesting, roosting here behind me. Fish are finally moving in to about 3 feet of water, which is exciting. So it usually happens, like I said, a month ago. But now that they're moving up, things seem to be, maybe they're going to get back to normal as that water temperature comes up. So look forward to catching more. Hopefully we get some good ones. I was able today to get several decent fish, at least in the 3-pound range. But usually 4 or 5 pounders, you can catch at least 1 or 2 of those every trip this time of the year. It just hadn't happened yet. Not many of them. Caught one about 7 pounds earlier this year, but hopefully we're going to see some more good ones. See you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe.